me want to die.
Crying shame, I tells you.
It would make me want to do illegal things with a cake beater!
The fuck are you doing with a cake beater?
I think it'd be best not to think about it.
I have so many questions, but I'm going to start the show, okay?
You have a bunch of questions. You're a scientist. Why don't you science it out?
Yes, science it out! Why do I do the things that I do? Science me! Science me!
Why do you molest cake beaters?
Okay, that is actually the furthest thing I was going at. Why is that the first place you said?
Because we're on the internet and everybody
You said
has a
illegal things with a cake beater, and that's the first
I
thing
was
that
talking
came to
about
mind.
murder! Yeesh!
Well, murder
Okay,
in it.
so we're going to take this train of thought now and put it back on the right tracks, and I'm going to start the show.
Okay, I'm back, sorry.
Oh no, you're too late. You've been removed from the show permanently.
The door's right there.
Don't let it hit you on the butt on the way out, because you are fired. Not you, test subject. You're doing fine. Yes, you. Box. You're stuck. Out the front door. Parking lot. Car. Goodbye.
Yeah,
All
don't
right.
let the door hit your flank on the...
So everybody made sure to let everybody know we were starting, right? Because I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Did we not prep this properly? I'm confused.
Yeah, I know I retweeted it this morning, so if you do it, if you want, I can do so again.
If they're looking for it on the YouTube channel, that might be a problem because they revoked my live streaming privileges over there.
I read Twitch.
Yay!
They revoked your live streaming privileges?
Yep.
For what?
Someone manually filled out a copyright form that is a false copyright that I have protested. Or actually, no, because it happened during the live stream, I can't actually even protest it.
Oh.
So it doesn't count as a copyright strike, but it revokes live streaming on YouTube. That's commentary all to itself. Alright, so, hi everyone, I am Fiaura the Tank Girl, and I am here hosting DeWilstonator, i.e. Thespio, Golden Fox, Insane Spyro, Jasper Pie, Master Code, Moon Knight Burb, Shoujo, and Solar Flare, who I will let introduce themselves in a moment. Welcome to Reviewers Web. Today we are talking about MLP, Friendship is Magic, Season 8, Episode 22, What Lies Beneath, i.e. the Tree of Harmony is actually alive. So, this is a even episode. We start at the bottom, which means Solar, you're the first up to introduce yourself.
So I discovered that Jasper Pie likes to do illegal things with cake beaters. I'm not sure if that qualifies as a fear or goes and coincides with the theme of the episode. Not really sure. I yell at things. People get entertained when I do that. I also play D&D occasionally. Yeah.
Hey there, everybody. Shoujo here, and we're back. We're reviewing an episode, and I actually thought it was good, okay?
Hello everyone, I'm Moon Knight, and we're going to be looking through What Lies Beneath. It's a really fun episode, actually. Kind of makes a little bit of plot holes for the finale and other episodes, but overall it was pretty enjoyable and good. So up to Master Code.
Hello, everybody. This is your awesome Ace Analyst Master Code. And today's episode I really fondly loved, even though it was probably one of the most darkest episodes of the entire series. But we'll get more into that later. All I was saying right now is I loved it. And now on to Jesper.
Trees are scary! Seriously, this holiday season, if you get a Christmas tree, keep your eyes on it, because one false look and it'll put you in that big jigsaw puzzle of death and destruction. Also, hi, this is the Pizza Pone, who made the Cookie Pie to the Pie, comics, audios, writings, fears of trees now.
Jasper, I want to play a game.
On a side note, that is why my D&D character now carries an axe of killing nature.
Spyro, do the thing!
Hello, I am Insane Spyro, the greatest dragon in gaming, with all video game news, reviews, and things, and now able to anoint people as other great things, like how from this episode, Smolder is the greatest dragon in MLP, because it's been confirmed by scientists that do actual science that she is British and she drinks tea like myself. That's why she is the best one in the show.
Morty. Hi, everyone. I'm Golden Fox. I review ponies, I review movies, I stream Let's Plays. I can't wait to talk about this episode, so let's get to the chase.
With the hopefully you'll actually also get to me beforehand. Thanks, Golden Fox. Hi everyone, it's DeWilstonator / Thespio, and quite a while since I've been on this thing again. I apologize for absolutely nothing, because around the time I was getting, I don't know, married. That kind of takes priority over everything else. Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks, darling. I did. Oh no, clearly it was a horrible experience, especially from all the videos I uploaded. Look at me having fun and smiling and all that. It was disgusting.
Yeah, Mexico is such a bad place. Married in the USA, divorced in Mexico. What a nice story.
So, in the meantime, welcome to Reviewers Web, ladies and gentlemen. Our audience should start to trickle in here in a minute. But in the meantime, Solar, initial thoughts on the episode. Go nuts.
Yeah, so this was, like, I haven't really been a part of this podcast in a hot minute, and I also hadn't really been able to watch the show in a hot minute, but upon seeing this episode, it does deal with basically the whole theme of facing your fears, and I felt like it is kind of a nice twist, I guess, to, rather than see everybody just dive into action, everybody just kind of be faced with something that maybe that other people wouldn't really find threatening, but to them is like, oh, wow, this is actually the worst thing that can possibly happen. But, I don't know, I feel like it does it justice in that regard. Is a good episode.
Okay. What about you, Shoujo? You got anything you want to throw in?
Well, I wonder if anybody on the MLP staff is a fan of Saw movies, because I got really good, I got vibes that this was totally influenced by Saw with the way that it was happening. You gotta face your fears, and you only got so much time to do it before you're trapped in this dark cave and presumably dead forever. But I kind of did enjoy it. I did like the fact that we got to get to know the student 6 a little bit more and delve deep into what makes them tick, what are they scared of, and how do they triumph over it by using the power of friendship to come over their fears. And I just, where I haven't liked a good majority of it, this was a really good episode to watch. I felt good watching it. It was pretty fun.
Okay. Moon Knight Burb.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed this episode. It's really nice to have the students again. even though it should have been the focus of the season, but whatever. We already made that point. I think, yeah, it's actually interesting to see that the tree comes to life and that it's now sentient, apparently. I mean, it was kind of, but not at this point of actually projecting like a figure of itself or something. But I gotta say, I think it was a little bit too harsh on the students. You know, they're kids and everything. So why really put them on death threat traps? Like Gallus almost got crushed. Fiona could have been bit by the spiders.
Because Saw movies, Moon Knight.
Actually, the tree was like kind of racist because the only like death trap was the only real like death trap was Gallus, because the other ones were on other fears and everything, but the only real death trap was Gallus. So yeah, make of that whatever you like, but it was an actually pretty fun episode with the Smolder scene and well them having to learn about Equestria and everything. And it's always a really good thing that we get to see more about these characters.
Hello, everybody. I want to play a game. As you all know, I've recently noticed that you've all been disregarding your friendships or even questioning your friendships. That's the most evil thing ever. So I'm going to put you to a test. And if you don't accomplish everything, you're going to be trapped down here forever and ever. So, yes, like I said, this is easily one of the more darker episodes because, yeah, they could have been trapped down there forever under the crystalline caves underneath the school where pretty much nobody could ever find you. And it's one of the reasons that it's a good episode, but it's actually a very basic episode where where when you cut right down to it, it's just everyone going against their greatest fears. Simple but relatable. Like, for example, I used to be really scared of spiders. Like, ever since I was a kid, that was one of my greatest fears. Like, even if there was like one like way off in the distance, I'd like run the other way. Or I used to have a real big problem with claustrophobia. I gotten over that, but that was another huge thing. So I really saw myself in this episode. And as far as the our killer, I'm sorry, Spirit of Harmony or Tree of Harmony, I actually don't think it's actually being too harsh. How to say this? You know, it's basically like Skynet, where it's a learning computer, and it started out just like it just starts out what it knows. It's elements of harmony, laughter, ha ha ha, generosity. Here, take this, and you know, so on and so forth. And as the spirit relays at the end, I have grown, and so have my understandings of the elements of harmony. So we can understand that while the methodology of trapping the students down there was very harsh, you know, you can understand that, you know, it sees everything in pretty much black and white. Again, laughter, ha-ha, and whatnot. So I don't see it as too harsh, even though it could have turned out really, really bad. So I think that the spirit was believable. Choosing Twilight as its avatar was absolutely perfect. Being the element of magic, able to protect itself. So this is also some of the most best character development for the Student 6, because while they have helped out various ponies in the past, this is the first time we've really gotten to learn more about their psyche, their fears, and whether it be their spiders and whatnot, or even just understanding the nature of friendship itself. You know, they're going against stereotype. So for them for Cozy or little Philly, to instill all that fear, for them to go against their stereotype, that was very powerful of them. They had a lot of fear of, maybe we shouldn't be friends, and it's a very terrifying ordeal. And overall, in the end, I thought it was executed very well. Jasper?
Well, aside from the whole Tree of Harmony thing is terrifying, which I still stand by the way, this was a real, like the others pretty much said, this was really nice development for the Student 6. We got to see, like, different sides of their personalities and how some of them still suffer from, like, PTSD or guilt or even a bit of hero worship. And we also got to see And like the tree said, we got to see some of them actually use friendship to help each other out, which is always a nice touch. I think just the only thing is there has never been a more obvious time where I wanted to take a pinata stick and whack Cozy Glow over the border. Of course, that could just be me. Spyro.
So, I like this episode. It's pretty good, although it now just raises so many questions. First of all, in Chrysalis's episode, she goes all the way out to the Everfree in the castle of the two sisters, and that's where the tree is. And then it makes Twilight's castle, and now it's at the school. So does this underground cavern just run all the way through the land back to the original tree? Like, are we going to have an underground city soon enough? And second of all, how does Ocelius know what Chrysalis looks like? Like, she wasn't around when Thorax killed her or defeated her. She wasn't around when the main six had the mean six episode. So where have you got that information from? But overall, it was pretty good, and I liked the whole Saw vibe that was going on. And going to Moon Knight's point now, I have to wonder, like, what would have happened if they all failed? Like, Gallus would have been crushed, obviously. Yona probably been eaten by spiders. How would Smolder have actually failed? Would she have just, like, been forced to drink the tea? Not that she would mind, because she is now a British tea-drinking dragon, and it makes her the best dragon.
Can I just comment that you said forced to drinking tea, and now I see those two Jersey Girl ponies tying her up and forcing clown makeup on her and shoving a tea kettle in her mouth before pouring
Kinky.
it.
Do you want the biscuit? Do you want the biscuit?
I want to die.
I'm gonna see that in my nightmares tonight.
Golden Fox, please save me from my own nightmares.
Yes, bring us some sanity.
Saw that coming.
Yeah.
Get it? Saw that coming.
Please hit me until consciousness is not an issue.
All right, so to give my 2 cents on this, this is pretty much echoing off of everybody else. This is one of my favorite episodes of the season. It was a lot of fun to watch, and putting aside the trash episode that was the non-compete clause, I can pretty much confirm that I pretty much love the episodes that involve the Student 6. There's just something about them that I just can't help but appreciate, and this episode is one of those examples. It's, aside from the whole Saw vibe, it's them helping each other out, and it kind of feels a little adventurous to the extent, which of course, bouncing off of what Master Code and the other said, confronting your fears. Is it perfect? No, there are a couple of things that could have been fixed. As far as I'm concerned about how Ocellus knows about what Chrysalis looks like, I'm pretty sure that her face, or there would have been an illustration printed on a book somewhere. I mean, given that, you know, there are pictures on labels and everything in this world of Equestria. So it's not too far off on what she would recognize on who Chrysalis is. So, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I really like this episode. Well, actually, no, I loved it. I'm gonna pass it off to the next Thespio or Fiaura, whatever you two are.
Thespio, I always go last.
All right, fire away.
Alrighty. I'd have to honestly bounce off of Master Code. I've seen this sort of story of characters facing their worst fears before, and when you break it down, it is sort of run-of-the-mill, but I do like that they do kind of go against... This show, what I've always respected the most is that it always keeps you on your toes, that you never know what sort of tropes they'll twist around to try to make it somehow fresh and new. And I think they did just that. I like the fact that each of the Student 6 had, I felt like each of their fears, it felt like that's the only fear that each of these characters could have. Like, I couldn't imagine any other character having each other's fears, if that makes any sense. But some of them, like, the fears are based on either something physical or something psychological or mental, and it's like, I like that they switched it up a bit. And yeah, I actually didn't really think this was sort of Saw-based until this was brought up by other people, and I can sort of see why. Yeah, going back to the whole Tree of Harmony thing, I'll just say this much. I feel so sorry for any pony lumberjacks out there. They must have the shittiest job ever. No wonder Fluttershy wants to be a tree. She wants to be the best weapon in Equestria.
And now that Will has given us all nightmares.
So, yeah, this Fluttershy wanting to be a tree, yeah, that's definitely a lot more scary now. They do say it's always the quiet ones.
I sleep under the very hard all day.
So, but yeah, other than that, just, yeah, this Tree of Harmony is pretty badass. What is it, like a relative of Treebeard's or something?
You know,
like when there was like a tiny, when this Tree of Harmony was just a tiny seedling, he was like Treebeard, you will. It's like Treebeard was shouting to the heavens, "Avenge my friends!" And the Tree of Harmony is like, "Okay, I can do that." And but yeah, overall, going back to this episode, it was like, during first glance, it can be sort of run of the mill, but after like a second watch through, yeah, it's actually pretty. This show seems to have a running thing where trees can kind of kill you. The first one being in A Health of Information with Zakor almost dying, and now then the Mean Six with Chrysalis's clones turning into firewood, and now this. So, yeah, Arbor Day must be serious business in Equestria.
I mean, don't forget that the Timberwolves are made of wood, which is basically trees, so...
Yeah, that's true. But overall, this episode is good. I wouldn't really consider this one of the greats or anything, but I still enjoyed it.
Like everyone's been saying, I think that gives new meaning to Fluttershy wanting to be a tree.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I'm a lumberjack and flop this I quit.
I imagine if lumberjacking is that dangerous, it probably pays really well.
You know, Will, bouncing off of what you said about the lumberjacks, I could just imagine that if they do something just in the slightest bit wrong, I can imagine the freaking vines of that tree grabbing it, and the lumberjacks are like, "Lumberjacks, you've ruined everything!" And they're all melting.
Yeah, lumberjacks, carpenters, pretty much any profession that has to deal with gathering or chopping wood, you die.
Basically,
oh Lord, I feel so sorry for the occults now.
Basically, whoever made the Ponyville houses, because they're almost all made up of wood.
You just now fed me another imagination that if the McCults and the other families start getting into each other's throats again, yeah, the Who Fields and the McCults, like the tree would just come in saying, "You better knock this shit off, or there will be consequences."
If handling wood is really this, yeah, if handling wood's really this dangerous, I feel bad for everybody in Ponyville on December 1st.
But crash.
This is an advanced level joke.
Okay then. Well, I guess I will say the one thing I have to say about this episode that made me squee like a 3-year-old. I proposed a magic theory at Trotgun 18 months ago? Almost 20 months ago at this point. The episode just confirmed that magic is alive in Equestria, and that scares me more than anything else.
They're watching you.
No, but they
Morty.
would never take fan. Okay, I already made the joke, but yeah,
So,
I'm pretty sure they are taking ideas right now.
I've got to remake the magic video now because that whole theory is now actually confirmed, and now I'm gonna sit over here in my little magical professor hat and go, it's okay, it's okay. The show writers are not watching all of your stuff and trying to confirm half of it.
But what if? What if they are?
They're watching you forever.
What the fuck? That was so creepy. Oh god.
That's what happens when you put it on YouTube.
Good times, good times.
So, now that everybody has given their initial thoughts, does anybody have a specific thing they want to talk about?
Ooh, me!
Okay, since you're incredibly loud and lit up first, I guess you're first.
Woohoo. Okay, so basically, I mean, everybody that's seen the episode already knows this, but so we already established that the episode was more or less about facing your fears, and then also that magic is evolutionary. But the thing that I just kind of wrote down all the fears that each character had, and I couldn't exactly pull up the names for all of them, so I just had the fear of as some of them. So first off, we have some pretty typical fears, which are, you know, claustrophobia, which was Gallus. That's fairly obvious. Fiona had arachnophobia. Silverstream had straight up PTSD. Like, you could probably argue in that same vein that Ocellus also kind of had that, even though I don't really peg her as somebody that was actually there for a lot of that.
I imagine Ocellus actually has more like imposter syndrome. Ocellus is, in my opinion, she kind of, you could argue that it's PTSD, but I feel like the actual fear is more like how others view her.
I'd say it's more like, I say she has more of like a guilt complex given her past. In a way, sort of akin to what Starlight Glimmer has, only slightly, I would think.
I mean, I argue that it's the way that it's the way that people view her. She's afraid of that because, like, she literally became, at least appearance-wise, Chrysalis while she was facing that fear. And that's, in my opinion, what it's trying to say is like, oh, I don't want other people to see me as this tyrant, as this monster that, you know, I'm probably going to have to deal with because that's what my people did in the past.
The whole Sunset Shimmer spiel, that's what Ocellus, I would say, is going through, just shorter runtime.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. And like the way that they got at it, like, and that's the thing that I kind of liked is that some of the more physical fears are the ones that the ponies got over by themselves, but the psychological ones, they needed other people to get them out. So Gallus' claustrophobia, he had to face that by himself. He had to get out of that room by himself. Fiona with arachnophobia, she also had to deal with that by herself. But for Ocellus, which was the fear of how others view her, Silverstream and her PTSD, you could argue that Sandbar also kind of got out of his by himself because the others didn't really do anything, but I mean, they showed up right at the end, so I'm going to count it anyways. And then Smolder, which was, in my opinion at least, the fear of what others think, so kind of in the same vein as Ocellus, but not quite. It's more along the lines of fear. It's more along the lines of she's afraid of what others think of her, like what she does by herself. It's sort of like putting on a facade. Basically, it's like everybody when they first joined the fandom, they're like, oh god, I can't let people know that I actually watch this pony crap.
I was actually about to say something similar. she was kind of going through like, it's like I'm the tough, I'm the badass, but yeah, it kind of goes like with the thing. It's like, hey, we have, say, bikers who like to do ballet, or we have singers that like to practice kung fu. Going against
the stereotype.
Male stereotype. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so a lot of the psychological ones, they actually needed other characters in order to help them out with that. So obviously, Smolder came and helped out Ocellus, even though, yeah, Smolder faced hers by herself, though, so my theory's slightly off, because some of the psychological ones they got over on their own. But, yeah, I did like that, how it's like, oh, this is something that's in your head, so obviously if it's in your head, you're probably not going to be able to rationalize it by yourself. But if you have somebody else that you can relate to that's dealt with something similar, then it can help you get over it. And I did like that a lot. I did think that was a kind of a neat touch. Although I did think that the tree was wrong where it said, oh, you got out because of everybody's friendship. It's like, no, Gallus got out of there because he didn't want to get squished. I don't think his friends really had anything to do with that. They didn't even show up until he was already out.
I don't think the spirit meant everyone. I think it meant selective in some areas.
I do feel like what it was getting at is that even if they got over their initial fear by themselves, they use that experience to help the others, which I guess, to be fair, is kind of a bit harder to word.
I think it also came down to characters that at this point in the season hadn't proved themselves outside of their stereotype, because we had the Christmas episode with Gallus and we had Princess Spike with Smolder.
Yeah, that was whew.
So,
yeah. But oh well, I was just gonna wrap it up. Yeah, I did like how they did take that look at fear, and it's not just like, oh, I can do it because friendship. It's just, I can do it because I can actually relate to these people.
So, basically, I'll kind of expand and encompass the whole stereotype thing. So, right at the beginning of the episode, we have our evil little Billy, Cozy Glow, who's going through and basically telling them, why, based on your species, based on your race, however you want to see it, you shouldn't be friends at all. Like, you dragons, you're all, greedy and griffins and whatnot, blah blah blah.
Red flag.
And and again, that's what Will and a couple other people brought up. Smolder's problem could easily be brought up as an allegory for being a brony. It's all about going against the grain, going against the stereotypes, something different that everyone else would see. Like, whoa, what is this? This isn't normal. This is insane. And I think that they, you picture this in a relatable real world setting where you see, instead of 5 different creatures, you see people from like 4 or 5 different races, where obviously maybe like in the past where their countries may have been warring with each other, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be friends. Your countries have been against each other. But again, they go against the grain, and they realize that just because what the people did in the past doesn't really reflect me of what I do. And again, it's going back to what I said earlier, it's a very basically written episode, but a very relatable one. That's why I love it.
I think it's also because, well, as you mentioned on the Christmas episode, we got to see a little bit about them. And I think someone pointed this out, that Sandbar was always like blaming it on Ocellus, and well, he kind of had a bias against, changelings and everything. And it figures that they're a little bit like afraid of, other ponies and everyone else thinking that they're still bad, that they're just, they just got some skill paint on and everything. But I think it's more of that. Now, the fact that the fears, some of them had to fight them alone, and that the tree said, oh, you got the strength to go against your fears because of friendship and everything. I think, Gallus wasn't really about his friends or anything, but he did help Silverstream and what is it? I think it's Smolder, the one that helps Ocellus coming back into, well, her normal self. But yeah, we just gotta say that Cozy is the one that kind of brainwashes them, because they already were like super friends and they already were like going out with the others on adventures and everything. But I think Cozy was the catalyst of all of this, which again it just makes her character worse. But yeah. You're going to say something, Sparrow?
Somebody else? Anybody? Got something specific?
Yeah, I think I'd like to add something.
Alright, we'll start with Will and then go to Spyro.
Alright. I believe, like, this was either brought up by, either Master Code or Solar Flare, or something along those lines. Or this could be, like, my own things. I feel like this was, like, yeah, like, I never really, like, at the beginning of the season, up until now, I never really thought much of the Student 6. I think, aside from that Heartswarming Eve episode, I feel like this is the episode where the Student 6 legit try to take their friendship studies to the next level to make it work. I feel like when they were put into these situations, they took everything they learned and applied it to the absolute max. And I feel like this was a good bit of character evolution for them, kind of going against what they've been raised to learn with, with each different race. So I feel like this is the episode that really pushed them to their limits to really evolve to the next level, if you will.
I mean, they certainly evolved more than Eevee or Pikachu, which can't evolve in Let's Go, but...
Yeah, I heard about that. Not making the game sound any good.
That you can't evolve Pikachu or Eevee on Let's Go.
My hopes for a Raichu are dashed. They sob.
I got a small question that I would like to ponder with everybody here, if that's all right.
What's up?
I have a small answer, potentially.
The Tree of Harmony chose Twilight as its avatar for the test in that. Once the tree was planted by the pillars, why didn't it choose to be one of the pillars instead of choose to be Twilight instead of one of the pillars? Maybe Starswirl?
I'm guessing
Twilight
in
the
the
elemental
tree.
magic.
Okay, let's not all talk over each other, please.
Okay, one at a time. Queue up. Okay, Jasper queued first, then Spyro, then Solar, then Will.
To answer the question, I always just assumed it was because Twilight I'd helped bring the tree back to life when it was dying in Season 4.
That's a good point.
That was also my answer, so...
Plus, she and her friends got the keys, helped unlock the chest the tree gave them, so... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Twilight and the tree are buddy-buddy by now.
Guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, sorry, was I next?
Will's next, then Insane, then Solar. Will?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with Jasper there, because it was Twilight that pretty much rebirthed the tree. And I actually came across this comic in my DeviantArt feed that actually also sort of explains, I think, why the tree and Twilight are so close, if I may quote. Because I was not conscious back then. It was my duty to protect Equestria, and that was all I knew. I bore fruit to defend the land from afar, while I remained here to carry out my duty. I do not have much recollection of what events occurred during those times, but I do remember the vines. They tore through the ground beneath my roots, trying to destroy the land I was created to protect. My remaining power was able to keep them contained, but their ceaseless resistance against me felt like torture. Eventually, it became too much for me to bear, and I believed that my existence had to come to an end. But then, you and your friends appeared. You returned to reunite me with the elements you had bonded with. I felt everything, not just the power, but all of you. I could feel your very essence flowing through me. Your adventures, your struggles, the bond you shared with each other and with every pony around you. And it felt as if I had known you for years. In a way, I suppose that was the case. I could not have asked for better element bearers. You six represent the elements perfectly and manifest more harmony magic than I would have calculated possible just by existing in your day-to-day activities. It was then when I realized the true purpose of my existence, and that despite all of my power, I can never achieve it alone. I may have been created to defend Equestria, but you are its true hero, Twilight. You have done so much in your existence to protect this land, protect your friends, and protect me. So I feel like because Twilight gave so much to the tree to basically finish what it started back in season 4, and for the tree and the elements and the main 6 to continue to do so to this day, I feel like they truly do have strong connections. So that's probably the reason why the tree decided to manifest itself as Twilight instead of Star Swirl, because granted, Star Swirl did not know about the magic of friendship, unlike Twilight discovered and inadvertently taught him back in Shadowplay.
Yeah, that does make sense. All right.
So I apologize to Spyro. Well, I had to jot down that order in like 5 seconds, and I messed it up. So I apologize for that. But I do kind of like that massive quote, and I wonder why they didn't include it in the episode.
For me,
probably for the runtime, but
hold on. Spyro was speaking. Spyro.
For me, I thought it was just because they're the one that they're used to seeing. Like, I assume this form because it's the one that appeals to you most. Like, it's the one that won't scare the kids because it's the one that they see every single day. Also, I think I found the biggest problem with this episode for this podcast. We can't talk about Cozy Glow because we've all seen the finale and we could all say, oh, we know why she did this. We know what she's doing down there, but...
Actually, I have not seen the finale yet. Oh. I know I have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah. But
so very nice.
Well, this one kind of connects to that one, so we can't say anything. It's like, want to, but I can't. But yeah, I thought it was just because it's a form that they see every day, and it's the one that would be least frightening to the children.
So we can't talk about the here and now?
We cannot talk about episodes 23, 24, and 25. Golden, you had
but
something
what about
you
the
were saying?
here and now, like the episode we just watched?
We can talk about the episode we just watched, yes.
Good. Now, as I said before, somebody get me a pinata stick.
So, somebody was talking when Spyro was talking, and I didn't see who.
Oh no, I was just saying something in response to you. So,
go ahead.
Oh no, you asked why they didn't include it in the episode. My answer was just probably time constraints.
That's fair. Solar, you had something else you wanted to say?
Well, considering that like 3 people just said the exact same thing that I was gonna say, was just because Twilight revived the tree, and the secondary answer would just be because Twilight was the most recent one to interact with that tree in such a way. But it's pretty much the same thing, so yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any specific thing they want to bring up?
I just want to say that I thought it was adorable with how Ocellus was talking when she was stuck in the chrysalis form.
I will die for this child.
You and me both.
Also,
I mean,
Sandbar grew a pair today.
I mean, it's the voice. It's gonna be the voice, like that cute voice. Even if like it's like one of the worst. What should we call it? One of the worst bodies to be in Equestria because it is not the most likable body. But I think the voice is the thing that like really makes her look cute. Most of the student seeks like have such good voice actors that they really do fit their personalities and everything. And trust me, the dubbing here in Spanish just ruined everything.
Neat. Anyone else have a specific thing they want to bring up about this episode or a theme they want to go over?
Not really. There seems to be a lot of silence.
I want to talk about.
I can't really think of anything else. I think we pretty much covered all our bases, at least to my knowledge.
I was gonna say about Silverstream, biggest fear being the Storm King. Like, what really did the Storm King did? I mean, I guess for the hippogriffs he was trying to get over the Pearl, and they were secluded into the sea, and she goes into like this. She was really literally shouting at it was a rock. She was shouting at a rock angrily that, oh, we can now go on adventures and go see the sun and everything. So was the Storm King really this bad, or
what did the Storm King do other than oppress an entire people? Like, gee, oh well.
No, but what I'm trying to say is in the movie, it's like, oh, the Storm King is the most powerful villain.
Well, here's the thing about that. The hippogriffs are pretty proud people, so to find this giant monkey man coming in and taking their lands, they kind of probably over-dramatized it, so it's way worse than it was. Because face it, if you looked at that thing, it probably isn't as scary, but for what he did to them, it's like the most terrifying experience they are ever going to live through.
Let me remind
now we
everybody.
get all hot in the ocean machine.
Yeah, let me remind everybody that when the Storm King first showed up, two of the three princesses got. Actually, no, I say two of the three, and of course there's four. Whatever, it's been a while. Three of the four princesses got trapped in statue forms immediately and sent the entire city into chaos. And this is like within the first 5 minutes. So we can see that the Storm King, or at the very least Tempest, while she was working under the Storm King, knew what they were doing. So,
yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
It was
Would you
Tempest, not the
say-
Storm King, that did all that.
Would you
well,
say
Tempest worked for the Storm King, so that's like, I mean,
I know.
this is going to be a very extreme example, and it's the first one that's coming to mind. So forgive me if this offends anybody, but that's like saying, oh yeah, Hitler didn't kill all of those Jews; it was his armies that did that. It's like, yeah, it was Tempest that did it, but Tempest was working under the name of the Storm King, so.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment to say. Like, yeah, it is a bit of an extreme example, but it is an example that fits.
I think it's also, we saw what happened to Equestria, like, within 2 days of him taking over, everyone was in chains and irons. So I think it's that fear that that's what their life is going to be. And
I suppose... Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And I also think that, since she specifically mentioned stuff like flying and going on adventures above the ocean, that she was really worried that she would have to go back to just living under the ocean, and she doesn't actually like it under there.
Yeah, so I suppose a safer, quote-unquote, example of this would be more along the lines of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Because if you really think about it... I mean, yeah, that too. But, like, if you really think about it, Sauron didn't really do anything himself, but he was there as a malevolent entity. He was there as a force. Like, Of course, he wasn't doing anything directly, but those were his forces working under his name that were doing all these things that the protagonist had to go up against. So even if they're not directly doing anything, the fact that they're still that malevolent influence kind of, I would say, is a pretty justifiable reason to be afraid of them.
Okay. Anybody else got something specific they want to bring up? Or do we move to question and answer? Insane Spyro.
I'll just bring up about that Storm King thing first, because it was actually, I remember this in England. First of all, would you say that the princesses got stoned?
You know, I was specifically avoiding that one.
You know,
I will shoot you with my gun.
I'd honestly say that got more crystallized, but
I thought when Silverquill left, the puns had come to a stone cold stop.
Oh no, not you too.
But second
You're
of all,
putting me in between a rock and a hard place.
there was actually an advert about that, and like that was pretty clickbaity. Like they showed that shadow, and it's like the Storm King returns. He didn't know, did he? That was a bit of a naughty on your part, wasn't it?
But
I
then
think
again,
it wasn't
you go first.
I think it was at Comic Con or HasCon, whatever, where you know it's like, oh, we're going to show these behind the doors where, come on, everybody has a cell phone and anybody can like record it, and that's where we also got the Kirin Tail song. But yeah, it was this scene where Silverstream was really scared and the Storm King's shadow appeared and everything, and everyone was saying, oh, it's going to return because Celestia had this dream that Tyrek was returning, so it must be kind of the same prophetic dream, and it really wasn't.
Oh
That
no,
was really
but, like, in the English TV advert, the narrator like specifically shows the clip of like the shadow moving forward and the eyes opening, and like, he's returning. It's like, he didn't.
Well, I think that's more.
I remember one of the other episodes. I can't remember which episode it was, but it was one of the episodes where Starlight and Sunburst were reconnecting after all those years, and it shows them like getting sucked into a black hole as like one of the like highlights of the commercial, and then you get to the actual episode, and it's just like that was just a thought in Twilight. That's like, what if they did something like that? It's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those, is it?
I think it was the season premiere. The ads, they were a little bit too clickbaity.
Yeah, not to mention the finale where it was like, oh, look at all these evils we're going against. Oh yeah, just kidding. None of them matter because alternate timelines. LOL.
We got
Storm King was actually in the episode. You know, I think you'd be pretty fearful if a bunch of bullymongs were raising your.
Yeah, sure.
Delivery driver got here, finally.
Amazon Prime
No, food.
or it's
So,
Delicious.
in the meantime, did I miss anything, or did you guys ready for Q&A?
I think we're ready for Q&A.
Let's do the TNA.
Let's do the queuing and the A.
Okay, so far I have 4 questions. The first one is directed straight at Jasper. Due to this episode, since you now have a fear of trees, does this mean your house now lacks a holiday tree, and you want to cut the ones you see down?
Joke's on you. I don't have a holiday tree in the place that I take residence in. Haha, I'm 3 steps ahead.
Gee, I didn't know that my voice dropped so many octaves.
You're welcome. It's man here.
But to answer your question, no, it just means that we must beware. We must beware the trees. The trees are coming back for revenge for all the times we have cut them down and put little glass ornaments and tinsel over them. Now they're going to string us up, cover us in barbecue kielbasa and then sing show tunes and tunes to mock us. Oh, human trees, oh, human trees, how lovely do you roast for your sins against my brethren.
Joey. See, it's very simple. You don't have to worry about all that stuff at all. Listen, all we need to do is extend an olive branch, and we'll create a new treaty.
That pun was
You're
bull.
insinuating you want to give them an olive branch. Isn't that technically giving a tree some relative's arm?
Absolutely.
So
I'm gonna make sure you sleep all night and all day.
So as dark as that question is, here's a darker one. This one is to all of us, so everyone will get a chance to answer. And since this is an even episode, we start at the bottom. So Solar Flare, that would be starting with you.
Oh boy.
How, if we are the ones being tested by the tree, what would our fear be and how would it be handled?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, so this one's getting into real personal shit. So, my fear.
Specifically, what would your pony version of you fear be and how would it be handled?
Okay. So yeah, his fear would probably be something more along the lines of his friends either just abandoning him or them, in a much more extreme case, them dying. So, and those would both kind of stem from him not feeling like he's worth anything, because that's a very big thing about his personality, is that he wants to do something worth remembering, and he doesn't want to be a detriment. So, in order to get out of that, somebody would probably have to pretty much reassure him that he actually is valuable, that he's not just a pilot, like dead weight. So, yeah, fun times. That's gonna be oof.
Shoujo, you're up on the plate.
Okay. This is going to be really hard, but I think my greatest fear is, well, honestly, just disappointing my friends and not being a good enough person to be remembered, because a lot of stuff happened in my college years, and I think Pony Me would just be really worried that he'd be forgotten and he wouldn't be as remembered as some of his friends, so he'd be worried that he'd be owned and he wouldn't be remembered as this great person that tried to change the world. And kind of like Solar said, he probably would have to be remembered that he was an important part of the group and that he was a valuable asset to the team and such. He would have known that he left behind a good legacy.
Okay. Brony Critic, you just got here in time to tell everyone your Brony Critic's worst fear and how the test of the Tree of Harmony would handle it, as well as how he would handle it. Comes in, gets thrown under the bus immediately.
Yeah, no kidding. I just got back from dinner. Wow. Wow. I was not expecting the deep interpersonal questions. I was gonna go from hi and see where I went from there. I guess, one of the things, at least from a personal standpoint for me, is I've always been very self-conscious about being ignored or forgotten. I think that's kind of why part of the reason I like criticism so much is the idea that I can affect change. So I think honestly the biggest struggle or challenge for me or for my character would probably be being placed in a situation where I can't change the outcome. I can only watch and see how it turns out. And the only way I could honestly think about overcoming that is just coming to terms with not being able to control something. I'm very control-minded. So I think that would probably be it.
Okay. Moon Knight, it's your spotlight.
I'm gonna be served as a turkey, aren't I? Okay.
With barbecue sauce.
Yay! Barbecue sauce. I'll be waiting in the bedroom. Okay, that was creepy. Okay, I'm gonna say for my pony and for myself because, well, I kind of felt like it could be interesting for both things. Okay, my pony OC, well, Hippogriff OC, whatever. My Hippogriff OC would be basically failing, but failing to protect like the village where he came from, because a little bit of his backstory is that his village got attacked because they had this sort of kind of powerful magic, but yeah, he got attacked from there. So I think that would be like his biggest fear, like not being able to protect the ones that he loves or cares about. On my side, it would be either failing like completely, like on life and basically on everything, or it would also be like confronting what would be telling telling someone else some personal stuff. But yeah, that would be sort of my fears and my test of the trees. How they would overcome it, well, I guess it would be like trying to defend it or trying to like make up for failing it, or just confronting the person and telling the person what thing. But yeah, on to Master.
Well, you see, that's an easy one. For you see, because I'm practically perfect and the most good-looking one here, and you know, you see, right off the bat, you can already tell that I'm the most interesting character because I have no challenges, because audiences, they don't want to see characters get challenged and stuff like that. But anyway, if I ended up in a test with the tree, basically what happened is I would end up in this plushed, furnished room with, you know, two mares fanning me and another one feeding me grapes. And then the next it would open up on the wall over there, and the tree would basically be saying, hey, you know what? You're so awesome and good looking and whatnot. What here's the exit, and here's some ice cream. And then I walk out and I eat my ice cream.
So you're like
the gavel.
You're like Mandy from Billy and Mandy. You fear nothing.
You poor baby.
I know, it's tough to be me.
Dear Princess Celestia, I learned nothing.
I get this impression that the bullcrap meter, as described by Bernie Critic here, is going so crazy that it broke. But moving on from Mary Sue,
Mary Sue.
Hi Jasper.
Oh boy, I actually kind of scared myself picking up this one. Okay, the ultimate fear that I, for some reason, gave myself. Okay, picture this. I am locked in a box. The box is quickly filling up with tarantulas. All my friends are outside. I scream and shout for help, and they just ignore me! They just go let me get eaten up by spiders!
Okay, that's dark.
That's the first part of the question. Now, how do you get out?
Simple. I break my feet out of the glass and I start running around until I'm out of the box. Ah, get off, get off, get off, get off, get off! Bang. Am I dead?
Yeah, that's how it would go with you. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I think I need a hug.
Here's a ghost hug. You can't feel it, but it's there.
You're a Tumblr post of lies!
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Crab?
No, he's not, because he's dead.
All right.
shut up.
So, Jasper, do you have anything else you want to add, or shall we move on?
Move along, please. I made myself sad.
Insane.
So, this is an interesting one from my OC and how it works. As you can tell, I am not any of the three forms that you've probably grown accustomed to. And basically, for us, we are like the Doctor. We regenerate. Every time there is a big cataclysmic event like Malfour cracking the Earth apart, if you've played Dawn of the Dragon, you'll have seen the ending. I expend the energy, I regenerated into the Skylands form. I am the fourth incarnation, and basically it's a bit of a master code where I have no challenges or fears, because what fear is there to have? And it's just like, I'll keep dying, I'll keep regenerating, and no matter what I do, worlds will fall, people will fall, new people will be born, and it's just the curse of immortality. And if it was like the Tree of Harmony, you'd be put into a room that's just a void. You're there till the end of time. There's no challenges, because in the end, there'll be nothing. Entropy will claim the tree and claim everybody, and I'll still be there, regenerating from form to form.
Okay, so this question, this is actually kind of difficult for me to answer. Part of which is because a lot of people have said their share, and I can see how relatable they are. But the closest I can think of, and if this is pretty much revolving around our OCs, I think this would have to do with the confrontation of how, considering that I tend to be very critical with any kind of episode that I go into, there's multiple things that I actually fear about, some of which have already happened to me, and I don't want to re-experience it. First of which is going way too far and being critical to the point where you pretty much, where I would pretty much destroy my own credibility. I've ran into that once or twice. Not going to hide that. Another of which is when I get called out on for when, let's say, I point something out of an issue that I had, and then somebody else points that out of what I completely glossed over, and I would just feel like an idiot for not paying close attention. Or I think, oh no, brain fart. Crap, no.
Maybe that could be your fear.
What, brain fart?
The fear
That's
of
scary when
turning
they
into
happen.
derpy hooves.
No, okay, so being overly critical to the point where you destroy your credibility, critical research failure, because that can be a real embarrassment for you or for a lot of people, or being open and soft to something personal and somebody jabs at you for something like that.
So it would go like something like, I don't know, critiquing something like it's really bad, and then it's actually good, and then you get your credibility like over.
I'd say more around the lines of being honest and open to something that you're afraid of talking about, and you have something you have a personal connection with, and after spending all that effort, you get told everything you said was wrong and that you're not supposed to think that way, or you feel dictated by how you're feeling on top of like what it takes to be critical or being called out on for any mistake you make. I'm jumping all over the place, aren't I?
Nah, that's I'm
No,
getting that. I am getting that feeling.
Actually, like, if I may add on to that, Fox, it sounds like from what you're describing, you actually can kind of relate a little bit, like maybe a stretch, but some of those fears kind of sounds like something the sort of akin to the fears that Smolder has when she's afraid of being open about something that she truly enjoys and doesn't want to get ostracized for it. Would that be a fair assessment or a fair comparison?
That's partially within, like, yeah, like it's kind of within that, because something that you feel insecure of opening yourself up to and being honest about, it could result in absolute humility depending on the circumstance, and you would be looked down on for that. But it's like, I don't have like a solid answer to it. I'm just spitballing a few examples of pretty much just the severe trial and error of being a reviewer. I could put that in layman's terms. I've had a bit of that kind of experience before with the aforementioned. Part of which is an obvious one, such as, you know, the stupidity that I had with season 4 with Philly Vanillion and Equestria games. But I think I may have shared this once before. Like I like, Will, you probably know about this, and I'm going to keep this in vague terms. When I was given my feelings on something in a Skype call or a Skype chat, somebody actually called me wrong on it, like objectively wrong, and I did not take that well.
I think I remember that instant. I'm maybe a little fuzzy, but I think I can sort of vaguely remember that. But yeah.
Yeah, well, imagine, okay, like imagine, let's say there's an episode or a movie or anything that you have personal feelings with, in which you state why you love it and why you think it's actually like much better than you think, and somebody points everything you said in such a manner that it just makes you feel like everything you were being open to just felt like a waste of breath or just made you look stupid. Like, it would really suck to be put in that kind of position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has happened to me.
Yeah,
like your words that you pour your heart and soul into, in the end, have no merit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's fair to say.
Okay, so Fiaura, you're up.
Oh boy. So, I have the same fear that has been discovered to be the fear of the character I play on Wednesday night, which is the pony version of me. I am terrified because I know deep down inside there is a monster. And it's not the kind of monster that you would expect from like an episode of Dexter. It's the kind of monster that I could talk somebody into doing horrible, awful, terrible things and then thanking me for talking them into it. And I always have to, like, every action I take, I analyze to make sure that I didn't let that monster out. Every time I do something, I reflect on it later, and I make sure that deep budding fear of being able to literally talk somebody into letting me kill them and thanking me for it did not come out to play. And it is the scariest thought I have, particularly with my friends, because I'm trying my best to make sure that even though they're my friends and they trust me, I never abuse that trust. I never take advantage of it. I never do anything out of my way to use them in any way that doesn't immediately benefit them as well. So I guess my biggest fear is letting the deep-seated idea that I am a terrible, awful human being deep down inside, if I let it out, come out and play.
Wow.
Okay.
And I firmly believe that if I was put into the situation described, the tree would put me into an area where the monster could have a playground with people's emotions and feelings and everything about them, and I would have to sit there and have a literal fight between myself and my monster.
Or just like, or like watch what the monster like has made them to go through, or
that I would be put in the back seat to something equivalent to that monster and just forced to watch it and watch it tear all my friends to pieces. And I think the only way to get out of it would be for someone to come along and remind me that I am not as terrible as I actually think I am. I mean, yeah, I know. I have a deep phobia of sharks, and I have PTSD, but in all reality, that is the thing that truly scares me, is letting the monster out. And I have friends who literally remind me on a daily basis, check and make sure you didn't let it out yesterday. So I'm going to move on to Will, because if I keep talking, I'm going to start crying.
Yeah, just make sure that you're okay, because wow, that the next time I see you, I'm going to give you such a huge hug.
All the hugs.
But anyway,
I guess now you understand why I'm so hesitant to ask for things, because I have to go back in my head and double check and make sure that it's not me asking for something to take advantage of someone.
Yeah, that does make sense, and yeah, of course, that there's nothing wrong with that, and you know, in fact, that sort of way of thinking kind of in a way kind of coincides with one of my biggest fears. Like, when it comes to my OC, like in real life, one of my, like, me personally, one of my only biggest fears is just a fear of falling, which is why I'm not really that much of a guy who likes to go on, you know, roller coasters at Six Flags, or I especially like with this past BronyCon having such rough turbulence during one of my flights, I kind of developed fear of falling from that great of a height. But in the case of my OC, and also by extension me, probably a fear that's bigger than that is becoming an egomaniac. I have had experiences where, like, I'll try to keep this story brief, but back when I was a kid in school and was trying to embellish on my talents, because for those that don't know, when I was younger, I actually had an acting and modeling agent, and I also took about 10 years worth of dance classes, and a lot of the kids at school praised me for this, for being so, in a word, gifted and talented. But I have had close to an experience where I've let all the praise just continue to feed and stroke my ego, that I almost lost some of the close friends that I've had at the time. And even to this day, I never want to go through that experience again. So I think what the tree would do is try to, like, make me envision in my own head, and thus project my vision out to me physically, is me being one of the biggest superstars in Equestria, and me completely forgetting who my friends and family are, be it my mother, my father, my uncle, even my wife, and me just not relying on their support anymore. And I never want to take the support I get from my friends for granted. Because, like, am I thankful that I can be gifted and talented? Absolutely. But I never want to take that for granted and forget who I really am in the process. So I think what I would do to pass the test the tree would give me is for me to flat out admit in front of a huge crowd that I appreciate the praise, but I'm not all that's cracked up to be. There will always be someone somewhere who is more talented and quite possibly more loved than you. But it's important, and I would rely on my close circles and reach out to them saying, I'm sorry that I left you. Please forgive me. So, yeah, one of my biggest fears is turning into a self-centered egomaniac, and that's one of the big reasons why I dislike Trixie with a passion, because she is everything that I'm against. So that's the kind of test I think the tree would give me, and that's how I think I would try to overcome it.
I think it was interesting because, I mean, it showed that you like hate Trixie, but knowing that fact that why you really don't like that aspect, it's pretty interesting. And thanks for opening yourself to the question. So,
hey, no problem. It's like, yeah, Trixie and by extent the worst parts of Rainbow Dash. It's everything I'm not. So, but yeah. Anyway,
Right. Can we move on to
anyway, I've rambled on for too long. So I think we had. Do we have like 2 more?
We have one more question, and it's less hard hitting. But I just want to point out, I think we all just proved we can all be like Rainbow Dash for a day in the worst ways.
You know what else is interesting? Thespio's fear about being like the super pop star that pushed away her friends. We've already seen that in the show with Rara, how she became the Countess and she needed Applejack to bring her back to Earth.
And now you all know why that's my favorite episode. Because it's about putting the monster back inside and knowing what's really true and right.
Basically everything that Fiaura said too. That episode is one of my absolute favorites. That's why Rara is one of my favorite one-time characters. I wish she would come back.
Yes. Agreed. I would really like to see her.
Yes, please. Morley Nahal would be nice. So can we move on to a happier question?
A happier, funner question. Do you think the Timberwolves could be purified by living tree wolves because their big brothers came along and said stop being little twigs?
Oh, wow.
Anybody want to take it?
You know, I'll say this. I'm kind of mad that they haven't utilized the Timberwolves more. Like, we see all these... I get that there still needs to be beasts, but, like, you see all these animals and creatures, and they're just one-offs. It's like, here's the cockatrice, it can turn people to stone. Nah, it's done. Put it in storage. Here's the Timberwolves. They may or may not have werewolf powers and can turn people into Timberwolves under a full moon. Get it in the storage. Can we see, like, actual lore on these things? They're very well designed, and when you shatter them, they can just reform with forest magic. So, can we... How do they do that? Can we have lore on the Timberwolves, please?
Are you trying to imply that the Timberwolves might be Skull Kids from Legend of Zelda? Because in the Legend of Zelda lore, the whole idea behind Skull Kids and the Skull Childs or Stall Childs are basically that they are what happens when children or adults die in the Lost Woods. That would be a tremendously dark fan fiction, actually.
Wow. I assume that...
Get on that, writers!
I'm not saying die, but, like, you know how when the bat bit Fluttershy and they had the mirror and she turned into Flutterbat, people speculated, well, vampires, Timberwolves, werewolves. So, like, if Applejack got bitten under the full moon, she gets wood attached to her and goes around barking at cars.
That would be a really... That'd be a really interesting Halloween fan fiction story.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Can we see
I
this?
know what I'm writing next year.
I don't know what they're going
ideas
to
be
do.
a coming.
Wait, are you gonna make a dark universe for My Little Pony? Make it
No,
better
someone
than the
already
current dark
drew
universe.
the idea. Give me a second.
I don't have to. We already have Fallout Equestria. I mean, what?
Apparently someone already drew it.
Yeah,
So,
see, Spyro, he's already got the art for it. He already drew it in like in 5 seconds. He's already done.
Oh no, I didn't do it. Someone did, and I think I've got the pitch somewhere.
All right.
Speaking of which,
So I did get one final question, if you guys don't mind.
Sure, go for it.
Hit us.
With Christmas coming up, and with us going to be discussing the Christmas special on December 22nd, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what do you think is your favorite part of Christmas?
Favorite heart of Christmas?
Favorite part.
I know what mine is.
Ooh, me too.
You see, I enjoy singing, but I have a very low register for a singing voice, and most songs nowadays are made for high tenors for like male singing. However, Christmas songs, especially the classic Christmas songs, are almost exclusively for low tenor or high bass voices, very much in my vocal range. So I love to sing like the classic Christmas song, especially by the crooners and whatnot. So that's my favorite. It's the only time of the year I can actually sing.
Anybody else? Jasper?
Eggnog.
Right, so we have our resident drunk, Master Guy.
oh,
Non-alcoholic eggnog, yes.
Oh, what
oh yeah, it's going to be like freaking apple juice in My Little Pony, which was cider, but no, we can't put cider. It's gonna be egg juice. It's going to be egg juice.
Actually,
oh wait, that sounds wrong.
Actually, eggnog and cider just don't go well together. Anyway, Master Code.
all the crazy and awesome decorations, all the seeing a whole bunch going around visiting, you know, various places, seeing all the lights and decorations and stuff. Lights and display contest. Love.
Master Code, you son of a gun, you stole my favorite part about Christmas.
Are we allowed to pick
But-
one thing?
One thing, just mention one thing.
Because he picked two.
Well, then he's a bad boy and he's getting coal in his stocking.
Hey, coal's in high demand. Thanks, I'll take the coal. Yeah, I can sell that. Get $100.
Oh, god damn it.
By the way, I'm just going to shatter all of your American fantasies. Here in England, there's no such thing as eggnog. We don't have it.
You poor fragile
Then what do you
Homo
drink?
sapien.
What do you guys drink, or what do you guys put
Oh,
alcohol into when you drink on
okay.
Christmas?
Okay, Insane Spyro is right, which is why when I introduced my girlfriend to eggnog and vodka, I had no eggnog or vodka left and had a very drunk fiance.
All right. Well, since Master Code pretty much stole my favorite part about Christmas, I guess I can rebuttal with another favorite that I have that could be that is also up there. This actually became a new favorite of mine. Every year, my wife bakes Christmas cookies. Just being able to spend the holidays with a special someone, you know, doing something simple together, be it either going out to see lights or, you know, baking treats and stuff like that. That's what I can enjoy the most about the holidays, aside from, you know, seeing all the lights and all that stuff.
I think what I enjoy most about the holidays is the giving of gifts. People's faces light up when you either get them a really surprising gift or getting them what they wanted for the year. It really just brings a warm sense of feeling to my heart. That's one of the things I really like about Christmas, besides all the other cliche stuff.
Aww.
I like
Or
the
my
fact that
aunt
it's pretty
people-
much impossible to get mad during Christmas. Everybody's in a fucking good mood. And no matter what happens, you're just like, you know what? Whatever. It's Christmas. It's a nice change of pace for being, wow, everything is horrible and miserable, and I hate it. And it's just like, it only comes once a year. Oh, we'll get past it.
Well, so whose turn is it now?
This is the last question. Does anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah. I have an answer for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go nuts.
All right. So my favorite part of Christmas. This is something that I've been thinking about every now and then. Like, it's kind of been on my mind throughout November and thinking about what I remember experiencing every time it was Christmas. And something that was actually under my nose is something I think is kind of on the rare side of when it comes to Christmas. I mean, obviously everybody's excited and everybody's happy and they're all grouped together. And we have a lot of the commercialism and the snow and a lot of basically just, okay, so I'll putting aside all of that stereotyping cliche of what people identify with Christmas. There is one aspect to it, and that is how like my family used to celebrate Christmas every year. It was like an early hour, like 5 or 6 a.m. We each would open presents and, of course, sit into a fireplace having hot cocoa. You know, a lot of this stuff, which, of course, everybody would scream in joy and everything. But whenever that happens, it was always calm. It was always quiet and peaceful. And I think that's the side of Christmas that not many people take a look at. When you look at snow, I mean, like aside from kids throwing snow at each other, but when you see like over landscapes or when you see houses and you just see that it's all covered in snow, it's very peaceful outside. And when people are asleep, getting ready for the next morning for Christmas morning, it's basically what I'm saying is that there's that peaceful atmosphere that Christmas has that not many people think about too often. And when it comes to that, there's something much more rewarding to that than it is to anticipate to caroling or playing around with your friends and such, because it's something that I think everybody thinks internally of what they're looking forward to. And that kind of excitement is something that is, I'm kind of repeating myself here. I'm sorry. But
big from the heart.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's when it comes to basically it's what I think what Silent Night would kind of relate to, especially the Mannheim Steamroller cover. So yeah.
Can I go and say the thing?
Sure.
Okay. It's been kind of changing because for some years it kind of the magic of the Christmas was I would always go with my grandmother, and most if not all of my family would reunite and be together and everything. But as years went on and on, like some of my relatives had to move, or which is one of the kind of things that maybe changed my sort of ideology of what I liked about Christmas. Something like personal happened, and sort of that illusion of everyone was together and happy kind of shattered. But what I really like about Christmas now is how the music can help you in some situations like this, and also being with my parents, with my brother, and opening presents while it's not the action of receiving them. It's mostly seeing everyone else's face and how they like what they were given and how they appreciate that. It may not be the biggest present ever or the best gift ever, like in My Little Pony, but I mean, that's sort of what makes my Christmas now: music and staying with my parents and my brother.
I know one thing that makes my Christmas kind of special.
What's
Being
that,
able to
Justin?
say happy. being able to say happy birthday to Harmony because she's a Christmas baby.
Oh.
Oh.
Shush!
Anybody else at all?
Another thing, I guess I suppose I could add to my thing, why Christmas means so much to me. It's actually thanks to Jasper for bringing this up. Not only is his girlfriend a Christmas baby, but so was my mother, who sadly passed away. We're approaching the second anniversary of her passing, so. Yeah, it's a great holiday to spend with my wife and my in-laws and friends and family and all that. But that's also a day where I pay respects to the woman who I think did a damn good job of raising me, and I wouldn't be anywhere without her. So that's more of like a sentimental thing of why Christmas means a lot to me.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have another thing they want to weigh in, or should we start wrapping up?
I guess it's time to make like winter and wrap up.
Yeah, I think
Winter wrap up.
yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up.
But it's
Alright.
not spring yet.
So if you guys will give me a moment, I'm going to be posting a link here in chat. A bunch of links, actually. Everybody in chat, get ready. For everyone's content who currently participates in our podcast.
And then while you're doing that, Spyro, I forget, do you have a picture for us this week or no?
Yes, right. First of all, just going back to the Timberwolf thing, I did find it. One Fiaura could show, the other one not so much.
I say I temper my sense of decency, but I lost that a long time ago.
We have decency!
What's a decency?
What's decency?
I think it's a type of gift basket.
Okay.
Okay!
The first one's not bad. The second one, oh god.
Good thing Bliss wasn't here.
Oh my.
That is not safe for Bliss.
Well, alrighty then.
I'm waiting for this to load. I see magical Discord cubes. Oh boy!
I'm saving that. I'm saving that for later.
I think it loaded.
I think a lot of
boy!
Not safe for Bliss.
I think a lot of people just got really interested in Arbor Day after seeing that.
Arbor Day, that in Equestria, that is now the holiday where we should make that akin to Nightmare Night, where we pretty much give offerings to trees like you give offerings of canding to the statue of Nightmare Moon. Please do not kill us, almighty trees!
Master Code, your joke sucks.
I was not prepared.
I was not. Yeah, I wasn't. I was not prepared for
all
this.
jokes aside, like that first picture, I could actually see that be a design in the show if there were like pony timber werewolf hybrid, infectious things.
They could. They could. I
think that could work.
I mean, we kind of have that with the Kirins and their wooded horn, so yeah, they would. Ha! They would. Yeah, they could do it, but I think they could be afraid because it's a kids show. We can't show anyone being melted.
Well, in the meantime, I am currently being yelled at by my subscribers for having acquired food but not actually eaten yet.
Yeah, you might want to do that.
So, you guys are free to introduce yourselves out, and as soon as you're done, I'll stop the stream, but I am going to do mine first, because I need to go eat before they yell at me more. It seems like a really abusive relationship. Hi, I'm Fiaura the Tank Girl. This is my Twitch channel that you guys have been watching this on. I also have my YouTube and FemFiction. They are also available in the panels underneath the channel. As well as a important announcement is that I'm being published.
Woo!
My Fallout Equestria writing is actually being published in a hardback book that pre-orders are available right now. But it will be available for purchase after February 2nd. But if you pre-order, you do get a discount and a piece of artwork, and I sign it, and I send you a bottle cap. But you can find all of that stuff in the panels underneath the channel stream here. In the meantime, Brony Critic, see us out.
I'm sorry, I was reading Master Code's comment and shaking my head in disapproval and disappointment. I am the Brony Critic. You guys can follow me on YouTube at just by typing in the Brony Critic. I mostly do fan reviews and also, of course, this podcast. I also do some film fiction, but I'm not in. I don't have anything up at the current moment. Eventually, I do plan on it. So when then, I'll share it at that point. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Brony Critic. I post on there fairly regularly. Solar?
I still yell at things and I still play D&D. For those of you that are interested in the Brony D&D, the next Curse of Strahd session is going to be next week on Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. Also, it's Christmas, so please, for the love of God, be nice to your family and to your neighbors.
Well, I'm up to a fair bit of stuff. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, but I've got a few videos set up that I made in the past, and they're set to come out in through the months of December. And there's a very special video that's going to have a little bit of a change happening towards the end of December. So stick around for that. You'll see what happens then. But you can find me on YouTube, all those other places, and hope to see you guys in the next video.
Alright guys, I'm Moon Knight. This has been, well, the podcast. You can find me on my YouTube channel. I'm actually uploading some Christmas songs because, well, the season demands it. I'm also going to be finishing the season 8, which I haven't. I think I only have got left Father Knows Beast. And the season finale, but yeah, after that, maybe I'll do some Skylanders review or something along the lines. So yeah, up to Master Code, apparently the sexiest here or something.
Damn straight. Anyway, I'm Master Code, your ace analyst, and as usual, I'm reviewing ponies. Got a couple projects coming up. One with collab with Finn the Pony on Road to Friendship. That should be coming out within the next couple weeks. I'm starting to do streaming on Friday nights again. And all right, I'll see you guys in the next episode, in the next podcast. Till next time, MC.
This has been your Pizza Pony. December is going to be a workload for me, but it shall all be worth it. For coming soon, it is the infamous, long-anticipated 200th Jasper comic!
Woo! Let's give him a round of applause.
I'm not done yet! Stop the applause!
Celebrate good times. Come on!
Guys, let him talk.
And then sometime after that, will be a first for my DeviantArt, actually. An 18-page comic event. 18 pages!
Yay, 14.
Woo!
That sounds like a lot of work. Good luck.
Oh, wait. So your comic is going to be legal?
Ha ha.
But yes, that is what is coming up for me. You can also find me on the Twitter and the Tumblr, so live long in propane! Yoink!
And I am Insane Spyro, the greatest dragon in gaming, where you can check out my YouTube where I upload Let's Plays, reviews, other gaming news. We've got the review of Fallout 76 coming up after this, as well as Pokemon Let's Go, and then a few others to round out the year. And I also live stream on Twitch, and once everybody else has done their outro, I will post the full group Thanksgiving picture. So over to Golden.
You can check out my main channel, which I believe will be linked in the description box. I also run a secondary YouTube channel where I have uploads of past stream recordings, and I stream on my own Twitch account, which I'm currently on the hiatus of doing my own Let's Plays, but every now and then I haven't gotten around to doing it yet, but I tend to plan on doing editing streams where you guys get to see me work on any projects. So be on the lookout for that.
And last but not least is me, DeWilstonator. I do not have a Twitch account. I don't stream because I actually have a life. But no, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, DeviantArt, all that stuff. And I promise, I know I've been away for a while, but I promise I'll get back to producing regular content again. Hopefully, once the new year starts, I just have a bit of a backlog of audio things that I need to complete, specifically for new episodes of TF2 Analysis Anarchy, and a few other things that I can't talk about until they're up and ready. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and happy December 1st.
Will just made fun of us for streaming.
I feel like I've been personally burned.
What a jerk.
Anyway,
Right.
which reminds me, I have to get that script to Josh at some point in the next week. Thanks, Will. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Hey, no problem.
Alright, if anybody has anything else they want to say, now's the time where I'm going to press the magic layer button that stops everything.
I'm gonna.
I love you.
I'm good.
I like eggnog.
Insane
first
Spyro
of
was going to
all-
show the thing.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's
First of all, this is for all the fun. I made a bit of a mistake when doing this picture, because when I was sketching it out, I was like, how many of us are in this group? 12, Spyro. Oh, 12. So that's 12 ponies, 1 hippogriff, and 1 dragon. No. 10 ponies, 1 hippogriff, and a dragon. Oh, well, I've already drawn 12 ponies now. That's bad. That's more work for me. So, yeah, it's not quite ready. There's a few little lines that you might see that aren't coloured. But I did do something else in the meantime, and I think it's the best piece of art yet. So here's that.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
It
Well, it's
belongs
because
in
the
the
other one was
museum.
too powerful
It
and
is-
it was
It
currently
is
uploaded.
beautiful.
But here's the real one. Yeah. I had to upload it to Stash. It's too powerful for Discord.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, geez, the implications of me turning into a turkey.
So walk us through this picture, Mike.
Well, obviously everybody just picked all their numbers at the start, except for 2 of them, and I was like, oh, damn. Well, I guess I'm going to have to throw 2 characters in there, which was Harmony and Mary Sue. And then at first, I didn't know if Katie had wings or not, because I've only ever seen, or at that point, I'd only ever seen the picture on the YouTube thumbnail where you can't see her wings. So to counteract this, I give her the golden apple of chaos. If she didn't have wings, she got them from eating the apple, or if she did, I can do it to turn Shoujo into a turkey. And then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You've all been hunted. It's Thanksgiving and you need some turkeys. So there's your turkeys. Gobble, gobble.
Well,
So what am I supposed to do? I got a turkey. Does that mean I'm safer or I'm not? This is really confusing.
maybe the story will continue next year. We'll have to find out.
all right. Well, Spyro, just in case if you ever have any questions about either Katie's OC or mine, don't hesitate to ask me. So that way you're not second guessing yourself and all that.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Live long and prosper.
I like to play a game.
I want to die.
Bye.